Hello, one and all, and welcome to the Mindless Thoughts podcast, episode 4. I'm here, I'm ready, I'm present, and I'm just excited to talk to you, the listener of this podcast, right now. Today we have a very special podcast because it's my birthday. I turned 22 today on the day of recording this podcast, June 6th. And yeah, I'm 22 and feels a lot like 21, except I couldn't do anything because we're in the middle of quarantine. So that sucks, but, yeah, it feels the same. I don't know. I feel like I haven't really changed that much. But anyway, we'll get to that when we get to that. There's, really a lot of stuff to talk about this week, and I'm super excited. I guess I can start... I can start with a reflection on the past year. I took today to really just reflect on the past year. And even though I don't feel like I've changed that much, I think like a lot has happened to me to make me change. And I probably have changed. I just can't tell. So over the past year, I went outside the country. I studied abroad in Australia, and it was my first time being outside the country. And I went to Australia. I stayed in Perth, which is on the western side of Australia. I went to the University of Western Australia, and it was pretty cool. Not gonna lie, Australian school kind of sucks compared to American school. But like it was just really cool vibe. Met a lot of people, and that definitely changed me. I feel like I kind of like grew as a person. I kind of like got out of my shell because I was forced to make brand new friends again, and because they just like drop you off in this country, and like yeah, you have to make friends. Like I didn't know anybody else from my college that went with me, so I just immediately had to start talking to new people and talking to people from a completely opposite side of the world. And it's kind of strange, and you're in this place where everyone speaks with an accent and stuff. It was cool. Definitely changed me. And then I got back and I had to work and get money because I was fucking broke. And then I had another semester, and halfway through we had this COVID thing. And that really sucked. And then I've gotten here. Well, so I guess like summarized like that, it really sounds like not that much has changed. I don't know. Maybe I'll look back at this podcast and what I'm saying right now and be like, oh no, you're a lot. The fucking going to Australia, meeting those people, that's what changed my life. I don't know. You don't know, like, until you know, it's like one of those things, like you can't really predict the future. It was really weird. Today I got an email from myself 3 years ago for my freshman year of college. If you don't know, there's this website, I forget what it's called. I'll try and link it in the description, but you can just write yourself an email and it waits, and you can select like a specific time when you want it to send, and you could send it to anybody. And the website holds on to the email until the specific date and time you wanted to send, and they send it to you. So I received an email from me 3 years ago, and it surprised me. Like, I completely forgot about this thing. Like, you just send it and forget it. And it was definitely trippy. I'm not gonna read it because it's like kind of personal and kind of like really fucking retarded. But basically, it just goes through like what was happening. I was chilling and like one of my homies, one of my friends that I have known now that I met that year, like one of my friends that I met that year, and I've known now for almost 3-4 years, you know. I was chilling in his room and I was writing the email and it's super trippy. Like it's crazy because I definitely have changed over that 3-year period and almost 4-year period. I sent it in 2017, sent the email in 2017, but like I definitely have changed since then. It took that email to put this like 3 or 4 year time into perspective, because college really hasn't felt like it's been going on for that long, you know. But I still feel like even over these past 3 years, I've been able to change who I am. And like just looking back at this old email, I could tell that I was just like really nervous and anxious. And I even said it in the email. I said I was just like, oh, I was so worried about the future. And I was worried about what people think. And over these past couple of years, I've been able to pinpoint like those are some of my biggest flaws, you know, is that I'm just like a really anxious person when it comes to thinking about the future and like my future and all that bullshit. And also I just like have a problem with caring about what people think. Like everyone says don't care about what people think, but you know, everyone really does think about what people think about them. I don't know, this is really confusing, but I really care. I had a problem back then of really caring about what people thought about me. Like, and I still have that problem right now, but I feel like I've lessened it, hopefully, over these past 3 or 4 years. And I feel like by identifying these character flaws that I have and like accepting them and trying to change them, I've been able to improve them. And like I still have them. Like when working on shit, like I have to work on my portfolio. I'm a design major, and so when I graduate, I need a portfolio, like a website portfolio showcasing all my work. And just doing this shit is just like I'm comparing myself to all my peers and like all the people I would look at on Instagram with like 1 million followers and shit. And like it just worries me, and I'm like, damn, I'm never gonna make it anywhere. And like I hate that feeling. I really fucking hate that feeling, and I just want to get rid of it. But I don't know, I'm working on it, and I'm glad that it's something that I know about myself, and that I know that I am improving. And that email kind of made me think about that, and I don't know, hopefully set me up for the future. Also, this year for my birthday, I just like got a bunch of books. Like I got like 3 main birthday gifts this year. This is gonna be Mindless Thoughts birthday gift review. So the first birthday gift I have, and maybe I'll fucking throw some pictures up, is of Steve-O's memoir. Steve-O, Professional Idiot, a memoir. And I wanted to cop it off his website, but my brother who got it for me didn't look at the link that I sent him and just copped it off Amazon. And unfortunately, if you get it off Amazon, you don't get Steve-O's signature. You have to get it off of his website to get his signature, because Steve-O signs all these books, and I really just wanted Steve-O's signature. But I don't know, Steve-O's just like an interesting guy. He's crazy. He is a showcase of what drugs can do to a person, drugs and addiction. And like, he's really just lucky to be alive right now. If you watch his YouTube channel, he like goes over his past and all his drug use and shit. I'll link his YouTube channel. Definitely check out Steve-O's YouTube channel. It is fire. His content is fire. All his vlogs are fire. Shout out Steve-O. Steve-O, if you're watching this, your YouTube channel is Flamo. But yeah, I'm definitely interested or ready to start this book. And I just want to see, because Steve-O's a guy that like got into drugs and got into addiction and made a whole like circle, and now he's like sober, he's making YouTube money, and he's just chilling. Like, he's doing what he wants to do. And so I just want to see someone like read someone's journey going through that, and hopefully it does that. I don't know, I haven't read it, so maybe once I'm finished with it, I'll do a book review. So yeah, shout out Steve-O. My next birthday gift is actually something really lame. It's just some fake Birkenstocks that were like $20, and they're comfy as fuck. I've had them for a week, and they have these like cushiony soles, and they are so comfy, bro. I'll link them definitely, bro. Check out these sandals. I'm such a shill. Who knew my podcast just turned into me shilling fucking sandals? But nah, after I bought these for my birthday, I looked up the fucking guy who's been, Rose Anvil, I think is his name. The guy who's been cutting like boots and shit in half. He did a video on like Birkenstocks and like cheap Birkenstocks, and he cut in half these, and they're complete trash, but they were $20. So whatever. And like, I feel like Birkenstocks are just overpriced, you know, because in his video he cuts through the Birkenstock and it's just cork. It's cork with a little bit of leather. That's it. And so cork, if you don't know what cork is just made out of wood. It's just like wood pulp or some shit like that. So I don't understand how that's worth $100, you know? It's just stupid. I'll link this video in the description, but I don't think it's worth it. And these $20 ones, they're fucking fire. And they're doing fine so far. And then my final gift that I got was the art book for BoJack Horseman, which, if you don't know, is a cartoon show on Netflix, an animated show that follows BoJack Horseman, which is a horseman, and he lives in LA, and he was a 90s sitcom actor, and he fell off, and it just like follows him, and it's a fucking really amazing show. Hands down the best Netflix show I've ever seen, probably ever. The writing, the gags, it's a comedy, but it still is a drama while also being, you know, hit hard. It's an amazing show. Highly recommend. It just finished this year, after 6 seasons, which is crazy. I've been watching that show since fucking I was in a sophomore in high school. That's insane to me. But anyway, I got the art book for it, and I'm reading through it, and it's just, I'm only like 50 pages in, but I got through the introduction, and it just, it says how like all these people came together, and it was just a labor of love. Like, it said everybody who worked on it loved the show, and this is definitely something I'm going to review later on the podcast once I'm finished with this book, because it's really going deep. It's going deep. It's starting at the beginning with the two creators and how they started to work together. And I don't know. I'm really excited for this book. And they said it would detail, like, they would talk about, like, making the creation of an episode of BoJack Horseman, and I'm really excited about that, because that's what I want to do. I want to work in animation. Like, that's the end goal for me. Right now, I'm an interdisciplinary design student, and the end goal is, I don't fucking care what job. I just want to work in animation, preferably at Cartoon Network. But I don't even care, bro. Any animation studio. I just want to work with cartoons. And, like, my dream is to create my own show. And this book just, like, has inspired me. And it's inspired me to read. Read this shit, because I'm just excited. I'm, like, turning every page with anticipation. I'm like, damn, let's go. And because I don't know, I'm really happy with the gifts I got this year, because I think this year is the year that I read, because I hate reading. Absolutely. I thought I was going to get into audiobooks, but I just haven't. And I think that I have to stop looking at my screens, because I'm just looking at them so much. I'm looking at them to work on schoolwork now. I'm looking at my phone like 24/7 because I'm addicted to my phone because we're all in fucking quarantine. I'm looking at my TV and, like, all these lights and everything. It's not good for my eyes. Like, I have blue eyes, which is, like, I guess, the most sensitive eyes. And so I don't want to be fucking, like, 60 and just, like, mostly fucking blind, and I can only see out of my left eye. Like, what? Fuck that shit. I know. And I feel like reading, just looking at a book, looking at pages, instead of looking at a screen, that time will just, like, maybe help relax my eyes. And I said the Steve-O book is, like, my falling asleep book, because, like, I just watch YouTube videos on my phone before I fall asleep, and, like, it's just not good. Like, even if your phone is on nighttime mode, it still probably isn't good for your eyes to just have that screen right in front of your face in a dark room right before you fall asleep. I don't know, because I don't know, I just, like, no. Also, it just probably will help my brain, and probably, like, I read at, like, a 3rd grade level, so hopefully it'll improve my reading skill. Who the fuck knew that reading was a fucking skill? That's hilarious. But it is. Just looking at words on a fucking page. That's, like, why I don't like reading, I think. It's because in my mind, I always just narrow it down to staring at words on a page. But it's not. It's really not. And that's what this fucking BoJack book is showing me. Because, like, the creator of the show, like, writes a few pages at the beginning, and, like, it's crazy. The creator of the show writes exactly like BoJack. And then I was like, oh, because he's the writer for BoJack. That's why, while I was reading it, it sounded just like BoJack was talking to me, because that was the writer who writes everything BoJack talks about. So it's like, reading is more than just looking at words on the paper. Like, it definitely evokes emotion. I don't know. And it's crazy. It took me 22 years to figure that out. So, I don't know. Definitely gonna try and read. I don't even know what the fuck I was talking about. Fuck, I just completely lost my trail of thought. Hold up. I have some podcast ideas. So this is like, oh, okay. The first guy that, one of the topics I thought of was weird YouTube thumbnail tropes. And it's just like, I don't know. I don't understand. So I'll throw some images up on the screen, but over my years on YouTube, you'd like see like the shitty content and how they have to make these crazy ass thumbnails to fucking get your attention, because most of the people on YouTube, I feel like, are like little kids, so they are easily grabbed, easily manipulated by thumbnails. I don't know what I'm saying, but there are all these weird tropes. They're just like, even someone like Mr. Beast does. They're just weird. Like the first one is they just turn up the saturation of everything. Like even before, like fucking weird ass faces that everybody does, because for some reason making a crazy reaction always makes a better thumbnail. I don't fucking understand that shit, but they turn up the saturation on everything. Like, I don't understand that. I guess to make it look more colorful, but it just makes it makes every single thumbnail look the same. Like if you take someone like, I don't know, who's that one? Allier. Like, all his fucking thumbnails, they're all colorful and bright and shit, but they all look the exact same because they're all colorful and bright and shit, you know? I don't know. Like, my thumbnails are just my fucking podcast picture, but, like, that's just so that, I don't know, it looks more uniform for my podcast. But anyway, I don't understand that. Next one is the red arrows and red circles. That's something that even Mr. Beast does. And like, sometimes the circles and arrows, they don't even fucking match up with anything. Like, they're just there. Like, I guess it's to like raise suspicion, like, oh, what is it? What's the arrow pointing at? Oh, ooh, ooh. Or usually they're like pointing at tits and shit. And like, I don't know. And then another thing is, it's really fucking subtle, but there's some YouTubers like put a little bit of red behind their face. Have you guys noticed that? I don't know. Like, I don't fucking know. That shit is so weird. Like, does the red grab attention like the saturated colors do? I don't know. It's just fucking weird. And then like the retarded faces, and then because David Dobrik like started to just plaster the same face over and over and again, like everybody else decided to do it. I don't know. I don't know. It's weird. It's some weird stuff, but it's funny. It's YouTube. It's interesting how like these trends, they evolve, even though none of these people actually probably talk to each other. They're still making the same like YouTube thumbnails and shit, and like they're not like marketing firms or anything. They're just people like doing their own thing. Well, they probably hire like, I don't know. I don't think Allier would hire like a marketing team or anything. Oh, he probably has a manager. It's probably their managers. But, like, still, I feel like Allier is still, like... I feel like these big YouTubers, they're still, like, a one-man business. Like, Allier is at the top, you know? They don't have managers. But I don't know. I'm just a guy with a podcast. Maybe in the future, if this shit gets big, I'll be able to tell my old self that I'm a fucking retard. But I don't know. I just think it's funny. And then another one I saw was on the So, you know how when you watch a video on YouTube, like halfway through and then click off, and then you look at the thumbnail and like the bottom has like a halfway filled red thing? For some reason, like some YouTubers put that shit on their thumbnail. I really don't understand it. I don't know. I've only seen it a few times, but maybe I was tweaking. I don't know, but that's just weird. Maybe it's to like make little kids think that they already clicked it halfway through and they're like, oh, I want to finish this video. I don't know. You'd have to be really fucking stupid. I don't even think fucking little kids would do that. That's that's really, I don't know. Weird. YouTube, interesting place. That's one thing I think I'm always going to come back to in this podcast. YouTube is just an interesting place. Oh yeah, I've been watching videos about, I watched this video, I'll link it in the description, but it goes over video game Easter eggs that took years to complete. And, it's just insane that people would be doing these fucking Easter eggs for these games that are like 7 years old. Some of these games took like 10 years even. I saw one that was 10 years. And it's just like, it got me thinking about Easter eggs. And like, what if that happens? What if you're a video game programmer and you put in this clever little Easter egg and nobody ever finds it? Like, what do you do at that point, you know? Do you give hints? But then if you give hints, that completely defeats the purpose of the Easter egg, you know? And then like, I don't know, that's a weird, weird crossroad, because if you give hints, then it's like saying, oh, my Easter egg was too hard. I don't know, but then I feel like that'd be kind of good, because if I made an Easter egg, I would want it to be really hard. I don't know. Interesting. But Easter egg in general are just like cool. It's just like a little thing that the programmers wanted to put in that maybe, just maybe, someone would find, maybe. But some other Easter eggs are just like, they're really cute. There's this one Easter egg in Halo 3 or Halo 2, I forget. But where on the loading screen, it's like a marriage proposal. It's one of the programmers doing a marriage proposal to hopefully his wife. I don't know if they got engaged, but it's really cute. It's just little things like that, you know. I guess would make like games just creations great. You can like just big collaborative projects great. You know, that's what makes big collaborative projects great, is that you can add all of these tiny details into these things. Maybe things that some people won't ever see. I don't know. So yeah, I don't know. Next podcast idea. I've been obviously listening to a lot of podcasts. A lot of Theo Vaughn lately, and he had on this Navy SEAL guy. I don't know. I forget this guy's name, but he's this big fucking Navy SEAL guy. And they were obviously talking about motivation, because I don't understand why, like, big, muscular people always have to be motivational speakers, or just, like, fit people in general. They always have to be motivational speakers. I guess it's just, like, people constantly ask them how they got there. And it's like, obviously, I was motivated, you know, to get big, you know. So, Anyway, they were talking about motivation, and it was really interesting. They were talking about balance in life. And the big dude, once he got out of the Navy SEALs or wherever he was from, I might be butchering this, but once he got out, he wanted to do all these things. Like, he started a book, he wrote a children's book series, I think, and then he started a few businesses and stuff to just get money for his kids, I guess. I don't know. And I'm fucking this story up. Fuck me, bro. I'm such a bad podcast host. I'm sorry for anybody listening. But anyway, the dude realized that he was making all this money and being super successful for his family, and he thought that would make him happy. And he thought getting all this money to make his family happy would make him happy, but it wasn't. He wasn't happy. He was being super successful, making all this money for his family, and he wasn't happy. And then he realized it was because he wasn't balancing work with leisure, with family, with, health. It's all a balance. All these different aspects in your life are just a balance, and they're constantly going to war with yourself, with each other. They're constantly going to war. Like, I feel this too, like, on a daily basis. I'm like, I have to get this work done. I have to fucking get caught up on this YouTube series. Oh, no, I have to work out. I have to fucking eat. I have to shower because I'm fucking stinky as shit. I want to start reading. I want to start a new project. I got to do this fucking podcast shit. And it's all, like, constantly balancing or constantly fighting. All these different things are constantly fighting, and I just have to balance it. And these things constantly fighting with each other just completely impacts your motivation. And this is because he said motivation is an emotion. I didn't realize that. Like, motivation is an emotion. Like, some days I wake up feeling motivated, some days I don't. And I think if you have a balance between all of these different aspects of your life, then that's what leads to you having a better emotions, better better time waking up, wanting to do stuff, and you just get more stuff done, and you enjoy life more because you're just happier. And he realized that, and so he had to take down the work schedule and balance it with leisure and just chilling with his family time. And I don't know, I think what I have to do over the next year is just find that balance. And I think I'm almost there. I think I'm getting there, because right now I'm healthy. I'm getting pretty good grades in college. I just need to balance, my work life, and just sit down, take the time to just progress my career. I just got to balance that. So over the next year, I just got to work on balancing. And I challenge you, the listener, to try to balance your life out too. Just figure out these different aspects of your life that you're trying to do. And instead of, just freaking out about them, try to balance them. Say, I'm going to do this much today, that much today, that much today. And I guess it leads to just being more organized and writing stuff down. And this podcast is definitely helping me do that. Just writing down what I have to do for this podcast, okay? I have these topics. Anything that comes to my head, I just write it down on my phone. And yeah, I just got to do that. I don't know. Just balance. And so I guess next thing I can talk about is the elephant in the room. Last episode said I have to be more consistent and I would upload 3 times a week. And not gonna lie, I recorded that episode like 2 days before I uploaded it. And then this is like almost a week after. So it is hard being consistent, you know. And I don't think I can do this 3 times a week. I'm just not at there. I just gotta improve me talking and me, thinking of ideas and extrapolating shit. And it's just gonna be cringy and hard if I try to do this 3 times a week. So I'm gonna try and just do it 1 time a week. And, this is a lesson. Because I thought I could just be like PewDiePie and just be consistent right away. But no, I guess consistency is a skill, It's something that I have to work on. And so maybe me starting off at just once a week, this is a way of me getting better at that skill. I don't know. Maybe not once a week. Maybe just like, I just want to do this podcast as many times as I can a week so that it's interesting. But at least once a week. Definitely at least once a week. I just want the podcast to be interesting and long enough to where it is a podcast. Because, I don't know, my podcasts so far have been skimming the edge of podcast and just like long form let's play where I don't actually talk about the fucking game. I just want this shit to be interesting. But I do need to be consistent, and I have to work on being consistent with this shit. And I just want to be able to document my words and my thoughts and my feelings. Like, this is interesting. This is going to be an interesting podcast for me to look at later in life. Because this is the first day I'm 22. And you're only 22 for 1 year. I don't know. I'm definitely happy that I sat down to record the podcast, though. And I'm glad that I could share it with you guys, with the internet, with anybody listening, past, present, or future. Let's move on to another topic. Another thing that I took away from a Joe Rogan podcast, they were talking about AI or some shit, and I just jotted down this idea that, I think Joe Rogan was talking with someone about AI combining with human intelligence and like Neuralink and that shit. And so if you don't know what Neuralink is, it's Elon Musk's thing. It's essentially hooking our brain up to a computer to make it better. And so I think that the next dimension is our brains hooked up to a computer combined with AI and all that shit. And I don't know. I feel like the next dimension, 4th dimension, is time, where we can like see and manipulate time, right? So if we can hook our brains up to a computer and essentially be immortal beings, and if it's hooked up with AI, an infinitely intelligent computer, then we're essentially all gods, and we're all in the 4th dimension because we can't die. We're all just consciousness on like flash drives and shit. Well, I guess we can die if the flashlight drive is broken, but what if we're all in Wi-Fi signals? What if we're all signals just bouncing from antennae to antennae? That shit would be the next dimension. Like, that's crazy. We would just be consciousness. We would be the signals in the brain in the vat. we wouldn't even be the brain. We would just be the electronic signals, you know? That's why I think, like, our mind hooking up with AI would be the next dimension, because we wouldn't need our bodies. We'd be able to see, be anywhere, think anything, mathematically compute anything, you know? We just have to upload our bodies into somewhere. I don't know. And then we, in our minds, we could generate these simulations of the world. And, we could generate the simulations of the universe, actually, and pinpoint where we want to be within time, you know? That we could, if we could, in our mind, if in our brains, we could create a simulation of the universe, and we could manipulate time within our brains, like that, we are gods at that point. We are at the next dimension. And I don't know, that shit's trippy. So I really hope that Elon Musk does this Neuralink shit, because that's crazy. That's going to be something huge. That's going to be something that everybody gets, and that progresses humanity to maybe the next dimension. Crazy shit. Crazy shit. I don't know. I was just high, and they were talking about this shit, and I just had this thought, and it was just eating at me like, God damn, this shit is insane. I gotta get this out to the world. I don't know. What do you guys think? Write down in the comments below. Crazy shit. I guess one last topic that, fuck, we've only been recording for 40 some odd minutes. I don't want to go to the, well, I guess this topic won't be the last topic, but I just want to do a quick channel spotlight. One channel I've been watching recently is Jarvis, and it's really funny. There's this one joke I want to make right now, but I'm not going to make it. But he's really funny. He's a commentary YouTuber, you know. His comedy and his take on things is very reminiscent of Cody Ko. But I don't know, his delivery and his editing just is a little bit funnier. And so I just highly recommend checking out his channel. He does a lot of videos on these fucking fake animation channels. And these things are crazy, because there's like people on Fiverr who like animate shit super cheaply, and they'll animate any story. So people just pay these people on Fiverr to animate their stories, and then they just pay actors to read scripts and then upload it to YouTube. And these channels make like millions of views and shit, because just little kids watch this shit. But Jarvis is just really funny. He talks about it. He also talks about like 5-minute crafts and shit. What a claim. He talks about 5-minute crafts. I don't know. He's a funny guy. He's a really funny guy. Definitely check out his channel for sure. For sure. Shout out Simi Valley. Hopefully they come back soon. And I guess shit. Fuck. I totally forgot what I was gonna make the last topic. Oh yeah, I guess I should talk about GTA Vice City, and this shit is fucking hard, guys. I'm not gonna lie. Like, this game is super hard. If you guys are watching the fucking gameplay all the way through, which you guys don't have to, you could tell I'm struggling with every single mission now, and like, fuck. So I'm definitely gonna try and record different games. I kind of wanted to like make my podcast episodes like kind of a let's play for that, just in the background, but I don't know, it's kind of boring watching me die and then respawn and shit. So I have this idea. I've been playing City Skylines on PS4 because it was free last month, and there's this way that you can like follow the cars within your city and shit. And so I think I might try and record that and put that in the background of one episode. I don't know. I definitely have to experiment with different games. If you guys know any like cinematic games that I can play that can just go in the background, that are on PS4. I don't have a gaming PC, unfortunately. But definitely put them in the comments. Some cinematic games. Or just games that you want to see in the background. Or just recommendations. Let's start a conversation. And then, I started playlists. I started the Mindless Thoughts podcast, or Mindless Thoughts radio playlist, and that's just music that I've found on YouTube, and it's like a bunch of mashups mainly and remixes to songs that I like. Definitely, if you have the time or just want to get some new music, listen to that. And then I also have a playlist for all the beats and music that I put in this podcast, and I'm gonna update those all the time with new stuff. I'll link that in the description, and I think I'm just gonna keep that in my description at all times. Maybe at the top, maybe after, I don't know. That's some shit I gotta figure out, but yeah. And I think last thoughts about this podcast, I don't know. I definitely am gonna try and get some guests on this podcast, because I think that would definitely make conversation flow. But I don't know. I have to buy another mic, so I'll keep you guys updated on that stuff. But yeah. Thank you for listening, guys. Honestly, if you're here right now, or if you've listened at all, if you just skipped here, or I don't know, if you're here from the future, or if you're just listening to this the day it comes out, thank you for listening. This podcast is just my mind, my thoughts, and I could just put it somewhere and document it. And I don't know, I feel like it feels good that I can look back and see exactly who I was at a certain point of time. And I'm going to continue to do this. I mean, it's pretty fucking easy. And it's not time consuming. And I really do want to be more consistent with it, and I'll continue to work on it. It's going to be a journey. I'm so glad that I'm taking it. And I'm so glad you're listening to it. Thank you for coming this far. Thank you for listening to the podcast. This has been the Mindless Thoughts podcast. This has been episode 4. I live my life for you guys, so you guys can listen. That was a shitty fucking outro line. Love you guys. Peace out.